I've talked about the most common mentioned prejudices based on skin color or ethnicity. Now I'm going to talk about a prejudice that is not really mentioned very much, even though it's out there in front of us all the time, especially in urban areas. That's the prejudice that many have about homeless people. Now, first of all, what is homeless? And I'm going to put some guidelines on this. You're homeless if you don't have a fixed address. Now you might say, well, what difference does that make? Well, if you go for a job, it's usually nice to have a fixed address. And you don't have a regular place to take a shower. You have to go to the YMCA or go to a public restroom to kind of clean up with the sink, but that's hard to find. You don't live in a safe environment. You don't know if your things are going to get stolen while you're asleep. So what's the prejudice? People fall on hard times, and this is what happens. The prejudice is, well, they can work themselves out of that. They can take some self-help from people and get themselves out of that and get enough money to find a place to live and so on. How hard can it be? What's wrong? Are these people all drug addicts? Are they lazy? Are they scam artists holding cardboard signs? That's a pretty serious prejudice. So maybe to compare this, I did a little research and we can come up with the daily schedule of a low-income person that has a home and a low-income person that doesn't have a home. And let's see how this all works out. Let's start at the beginning. 6 a.m. Wakes on a park bench, shelter or underpass. Must move frequently to avoid policing or harassment. If you're in a house, you can wake up and you can wash your face, brush your teeth, take a shower. You can do all that immediately, or at least a bath. You can get that no matter what kind of house you have. As long as it's got running water, you can take care of that. Now, 6:30. Searches for public restroom to wash up. Lines at shelters or gyms. They might be long. Faces judgment for appearance. Ooh, that's rough. Shower and breakfast at home, privacy and dignity preserved. And of course, we're painting this pretty nicely. Your apartment might not be that great, but that's pretty good. Now, one place in between here that's been pointed out to me is if you might be homeless, but you might be sleeping on the couch of a friend, in which case you can kind of get this stuff taken care of. Okay, get ready to go to eat. Soup kitchen, food pantry, collects loose change. Must navigate public perception of begging. That's where the cardboard sign comes in. Prepares breakfast at home, possibly walks to bus or car without social scrutiny. See that social scrutiny? Can you imagine if you're a homeless person and you're just trying to get to the bus? You're going to face a lot of critical looks if you're just kind of wandering around with a backpack on, or you're pushing a cart with all the stuff that you own. Attempts to find day labor, temporary work, or odd jobs. Okay, that's you go over to Home Depot or something like that. Employers may reject them due to appearance or no fixed address. Begins work or job search from home or workplace. Less social friction. Lunch may be free meal at shelter, or you go to do dumpster diving, or you just skip it. Public spaces might be hostile to you. Lunch at home or workplace cafeteria. Now, if you got a job, maybe you have a workplace cafeteria, but maybe you can't afford to eat there. I don't know. Searches for a safe place to rest. Public parks. Now this is 1 p.m., so you really didn't get your job here, I guess, if you're searching at 1 o'clock for some place to rest. Afternoon work or rest at home. Security and comfort. So that security thing is a big deal. Visit social services, library or shelters. Lines are long. Good old bureaucracy gets in your way. Can manage appointments with ID and phone. Less anxiety. Okay, they didn't mention about a phone. Maybe if you had a cell phone, that might work out for you. Okay, 5 p.m. Now you're starting to look for a place to sleep. You don't even know if it's going to be the same place as it was last night. Returns home, dinner and relaxation. Okay, maybe they're pumping this up a little bit. If you're really low income, things are not going to be that great, but at least you got a private space there. Dinner at shelter. Must store belongings nearby while you eat, because people are obviously going to see that that's all you have, and they're going to want to steal it, any money that you might have or anything else. Prepares dinner. I think you're getting the idea on this second column. Then you find a secluded or tolerated area to sleep. May face exposure, noise, or assault. Now you might have a tent that you have set up and that you can come back to. Interrupted sleep. Constant alertness to threats or displacement. Sleeps uninterrupted. Personal safety assumed. I've heard people talk about those that are in a homeless situation as lazy. All of them are drug addicts, and that's why they won't go to a homeless shelter, because the homeless shelter won't allow them to do drugs. So I hope this gave you a general idea of some new information that I didn't really think about. I'm still examining this issue, and it's starting to roll around in my head. There's many, many more ideas that come to mind about what it seems to be kind of a hopeless situation in many cases. You just can't get off the ground unless you have some kind of a basic place to live.